Hi, I am Mrs. McBroom and I teach 4th grade at Cox Elementary. We're going to continue our read aloud, Finding Goby, Chapter 2. The next morning, Dion smiled down at the little dog prancing around his feet. "You ready?" he asked. She barked in reply. She'd been curled up beside him when he woke up this morning. "You know what you've got to do now, don't you?" Richard, one of the other runners, asked him. "What?" Dion replied. Richard smiled. "You've got to give her a name." Dion had groaned at that. She wasn't his dog, but she did seem to have attached herself to him, and he couldn't just keep thinking of her as a dog. Richard was right. She needed a name. But what name? It should be short, he thought. Long names just got shortened anyway. It should be fun and playful, but not silly. It should suit her, and it should have something to do with the race, maybe. Then he had it. Part of the race led through the Gobi Desert, and that was the perfect name for her, Gobi. Gobi was excited now she had a name, and the man had given it to her, and he'd fed her and let her curl up beside him to sleep. This was so great. And now it was daytime again. The sun was out and it was nice and warm, and they were about to run some more. She couldn't wait. She was so excited that she actually wandered away for a little bit. There were lots of other runners, and many of them said hi to her and petted her. Some even fed her or gave her water. It was really nice. But once the race got underway, Gobi went looking for one runner in particular, a tall one, all in yellow. She found him after a little bit and smiled when he saw her. Then they started running together again. Dion was surprised at how happy he got to see Gobi turn up again. He'd thought she'd gotten tired of him or found her owner or something else. But here she was, running alongside him as if she'd never left. Today's race led through a bunch of boulders. The footing was tricky because the rocks shifted around beneath your feet. You had to be careful if you didn't want to get hurt. Dion slowed a little as he reached the boulders. Gobi didn't. She was light enough that she could leap from rock to rock without a problem. Julian was the same way. Dion had seen him leap from rock to rock the day before. Today, Dion had made sure to be in front before they got to the boulders because he knew he'd lose some time once they reached the section. Sure enough, he soon heard Julian coming up behind him. But when Dion got to the top of the pile, he stopped. He could see for miles up there. There was the next checkpoint way ahead, just past a small village. There was the starting line way behind him. There was the path from here to the village. It was nice and flat and straight, and they'd been running on that until the markers had led them up here. And there was one runner flying down another path. It was Tommy. "Whoa," Julian said from beside Dion. "That's not right." When Dion reached the checkpoint, he stopped and found one of the race organizers. "Tommy somehow skipped that whole rocky section back there. I don't know if he did it deliberately or not, but it's not fair." The woman raised her eyebrows. "We'll look into it," she said. Dion still wasn't sure the organizer believed them, but he'd done all he could do. Time to get back to the race. Tommy was way ahead, but the race path curved a bit. At one point, he and Dion were maybe half a mile apart. Dion assumed Tommy had seen him and would slow down, but Tommy continued running fast ahead and didn't stop for Dion to run together as they had before he went another way. Dion tried to catch Tommy. The gap was too big, though. All that happened was Dion wore himself out and Julian shot past him. Dion was mad at himself. He'd had this problem before. He got angry and then he got careless. His first ultra race, he'd gotten so angry he'd actually quit the race partway through. He was starting to feel the same way now. Usually his wife was there to help him get over his anger, but she was still back in Scotland. Dion was all alone. Then he glanced down at Gobi, still running beside him. He smiled. He was not alone, and having that little dog there was enough to take his mind off chasing Tommy down and everything else. Just having Gobi with him was enough to keep Dion going. This race wasn't over yet.